All right. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Monday Night Law with Kirk's Law Corner here on November 28th, 2022. How y'all doing out there? Let me get all this stuff going here. Out there on Telegram, YouTube. Gonna have a little interesting show here tonight. I'm gonna cover a few things about the duties of a sheriff. I'll discuss a little bit about the Brunson, the writ of certiorari, which I'm not aware of any real changes there from last week. There's been rumors of, it was moved over to an emergency court hearing, blah, 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 blah. I don't see any of that. Not saying that it's not true, but I cannot confirm nor deny that. But like I stated last week, is the fact that judicial branch doesn't have jurisdiction. This is a political argument, not a judicial one. And anything to do with elections is supposed to go to the legislature. I showed you that right out of Lex Parliamentaria Americana. This is part of the common law and parliamentary practice for the legislature. That's how that's supposed to work. And which, that's the thing is, even with Sidney Powell up there trying to go to the judicial branch and was told you don't have standing. Okay? That's just the way it is. Article 4, Section 4, for internal insurrection, domestic violence. We go to the legislature, and the legislature can't be convened the executive, not the judicial. So trying to force the judicial branch to take jurisdiction where it has none, in my mind, doesn't work. Which is exactly how Sidney Powell's and everything else in this Brunson guy's cases in Utah, all the way up, that you don't have standing. We don't have jurisdiction. Okay? So don't be surprised if the Supreme Court says, yeah, all the lower courts were correct. So, again, don't be surprised if they don't. They don't do anything. Let me see if I can get to my Facebook one. Wait a minute. I swear I had the sheriff's handbook. Where is... There it is. Okay, so some of the duties, right, that are supposed to be performed by our sheriff is some of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I have a special request. And we're you folks out there, the people, can get active on this. And I'll get to that. There we go. All right. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Where is it? Come on. All right. All right. Hey, Chad, Rob, how you doing, brother Rob? Out there on Facebook. And of course, where's my... I gotta move this around. Oh, come on. All right. Rumble should be good. Unless it had a glitch in the matrix over there. Uh-oh, we must have had some sort of glitch in the matrix for... Rumble. Well, crap. I don't know why it's not live over there. It should be on Rumble, but it's clearly didn't connect right. Go streaming software. It shows that it popped up, but it doesn't show that it went actually live. So, well, I'll have to get this uploaded over there. Now, there's a couple things here. A couple little short videos from Fox News. That I want to share to kind of help, show a little bit about what's going on out there. And this Fox News, so here's your mainstream media news, right? Now let's see if this comes through for you folks out there, which...
These children are being trafficked into the United States by...
I don't know why it's not live over there. Let's try this again. All right, so this is previously broadcasted by Fox News, used for obviously educational purposes and news purposes, which is what I'm licensed to do here. So, no intention of any kind of a copyright infringement or any of that good stuff. So, without further ado, let's listen to what's going on here.
These children are being trafficked for organ harvesting. These children are being trafficked into the United States by sexual predators and being sold. These children are also being trafficked as a part of child slavery, which you just discussed earlier, which is happening in Africa. Well, believe it or not, it happens here in the United States. It happens in Mexico. And the tragedy here, Rachel, is that our government is literally aiding and abetting these traffickers. The only way they can make this happen is if they are allowed to enter the United States. And they are being allowed to enter because of the failure of the Biden administration and the horrors that happen to these children. I don't think there's any way we can turn our backs on it once we know what's happening.
No, you're absolutely right. In fact, our government loses track of about 40% of the children that come across the border. And our Border Patrol, our government at the border, they're travel agents we're doing and funding the last leg of the journey for the cartels in this evil trade. I mean, you discuss, it's not just sex trafficking, organ harvesting. This is pure evil stuff. Representative Kat Cammack from Florida calls Joe Biden the trafficker in chief. Knowing what you know now and what you've investigated, do you agree?
I absolutely agree. More than 130,000 children entered shelters in the United States just last fiscal year. That doesn't include all the children that have disappeared on the journey here, the children that have disappeared in the country, like you mentioned, Rachel. If the Biden administration does not change its course immediately, this is not only a humanitarian crisis, it is a national security crisis, then they are absolutely 100% responsible for every single child that gets murdered, that gets taken, that is used as a slave, that is used in sexual labor. I want the Biden administration to understand that, and I hope they're watching this tonight, and I hope that they change course. These children do not deserve it. The American public does not deserve it. We are facing a national security crisis that is unheard of, and our own children are dying too. So there is nothing at all good about this, Rachel. There's not one redeeming quality of this border policy and this chaos at all.
Okay, so now we kind of have an idea of what's going on down there on the border. And I'm going to touch on that here in just a second, and I want to have you watch this video.
Chinese, for example. The investigation reveals a family that engaged with some of America's most powerful adversaries, planning to sell one of the largest sources of cobalt for electric vehicles in the world to the Chinese, for example. The Bidens flourished and became millionaires by simply offering access to the family. Among the dozens of shell companies the Bidens set up, there were millions of dollars of wire transfers, flights on Air Force Two to conduct personal business, and meetings with heads of state, all while Joe Biden was aware of what was happening. All the while, he turned a blind eye. Many transactions related to these businesses have raised red flags at U.S. banks. A suspicious activity report, or SAR, is a document a bank must file with the Treasury Department when a transaction is suspected to be related to money laundering or fraud or other types of criminal activity. According to media reports, the Biden family accumulated over 150 SARs. One SAR generated by an American bank to the Treasury Department connects Hunter Biden and his business associates to international human trafficking, among other illegal activities. The money that was being made from foreign principals in the same room as Joe Biden was, among other, trafficking.
Say that again.
And his business associates to international human trafficking, among other illegal activities.
Okay, let's
The
back
money
that up
that was
again.
SARS. One SAR generated by an American bank to the Treasury Department connects Hunter Biden and his business associates to international human trafficking, among other illegal activities. The money that was being made from foreign principals in the same room as Joe Biden was increasingly spent on furthering.
Okay. So are we picking up a theme that's being laid down here, folks? Okay, there's human trafficking. You know, Trump talked about this a long time ago and said, you know, hey, I'm going to go after this. I'm going to end this horrific human trafficking worldwide. Okay? Now, here you go. It's in the mainstream media. There's your Fox News. And I don't care about the people out there that want to say, oh, it's Fox News. You're turning a blind eye to the truth. It's coming out. Of course, not all of it's coming out, right? So, are we aware that the governor of Texas sent tanks down to the border for this? Wonder why that is. To shut this stuff down. Things are going down all around us, folks. And I know some people out there, oh, I can't wait to see this stuff start happening. It's been happening, folks. Okay, December 20th, 2017. December 20th, 2017, Executive Order 13818. Blocking the property of those involved in serious human rights abuse and corruption. There you go. Executive order by the commander-in-chief to order the military, because that's what the commander-in-chief is. He barks orders to execute the law. Okay? So that's what executive orders are, is for the military to execute the law. He's acting as commander-in-chief. What the military is intended for, I should say militia is the proper term. Okay? So this is what we're supposed to be doing, military-wise, militia-wise, is defending life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the law of nature. This is international law. Okay, this goes clear back to ancient admiralty and admiralty jurisdiction and maritime law. Ancient. Been around for a long time. So, for those out there that are, still in the dark and have no frickin' clue about what's going on, I got news for you. It's been happening for quite some time. Worldwide. Okay? Lots of people have been arrested. London's been taken down. Vatican's been taken down. DC is in the middle of being taken down. Okay? Oh, you guys are jokesters out there. Jack's out here on YouTube says, hey, the shirt you're wearing makes me look like Captain Kirk from Star Trek. Then, of course, I don't know who Lee is, but hi, Lee. Says, beam me up, Scotty. That's funny. No, it's all good. I want to point out that the executive order that Trump dug up from 1984 and made amendments to the manual for courts martial, he brought back the death penalty for treason. Okay? That was part of what was taken out in 1985 because they were in the works and preparing for Agenda 21. It was taking away the death penalty because they were worried that if they were to get caught, well, they would be sentenced to death. Well, all of that stuff came effective January 1st, 2019. Now, this is where the world stage changed and where many different nation states, countries, entered into treaties of peace. Wait a minute. How do you do treaties of peace if we're not at war? That makes absolutely no sense. You cannot do a treaty of peace if we're not at war. What are we at war about? Oh, I don't know. Those involved in serious human rights abuse and corruption. Human trafficking, Part A and B. Right? Everything under the sun you can think of and under the moon and without any of that. Underground. Satanic rituals, organ harvesting, adrenochrome. Okay, this kind of stuff's been going on for thousands of years, guys. Possibly close to 4,000 years, clear back to 4,000 BC. This is not new. A lot of the stuff that's been put in place was to protect themselves from getting caught. Like the FBI, the CIA. They run interference. How people end up dead. Somebody come up with evidence that somebody's involved in some child trafficking, whether it's the sheriff's department or a local police department, whatever, what have you. And they submit that evidence, and oh, bam, they end up. Oh no, they just died. But nobody gets busted. Well, as you can see, if you've been paying attention enough, there's a lot of people that have been getting busted for child pornography. Some of that's leaked out into the mainstream media. Okay? Some of the underground tunnel stuff. Oh, we found 24 kids and rescued da-da-da-da. Okay? Stuff's happening, folks. It has been all around us. But this is a military operation. It's covert. The general public isn't in the need to know, including myself. Right? I'm, particularly speaking, I'm nobody special. I'm just like the rest of you men and women out here. Right? I'm not privy to special information. I mean, I might have a source or two that's feeding me some information, but they can't say a whole lot, right? They're under non-disclosure agreements, so they can't come right out and tell me exactly what's going on. They can hint, but I gotta figure it out, which is what I've been doing for several years. But I follow the executive orders. Right? I want to make it clear. I didn't follow Q. I followed Trump, his executive orders, proclamations, memorandums, the actions that were taken, his speeches, the words that came out of Trump's mouth, and what little bit of evidence that I could find from mainstream media or other sources. Okay? So, Jack's out here on YouTube says, yes, every day I see people getting arrested for child trafficking. So there's somebody who's been paying attention. Jack's, she's been following me for, I don't know, at least 3 years that I'm aware of, maybe 4. Okay? But I've been out here doing this since, I don't know, around 2015 on Blog Talk Radio, and then in 2017 oh, crap. So, Facebook on 2017 and started, breaking this stuff down and going over the executive orders as they were coming out. I've laid this stuff out as it was coming out. So, got some information this morning, actually. Somebody that I've been working with for a little bit did the criminal complaint. Bam! These fake judges, whatever, got arrested and then pleaded to be released from jail. And the court said, no, not happening. Okay? There's another testimony. Somebody who's following what I'm teaching. There's a reason behind why I'm teaching this stuff, folks. Because this is our republic if we can keep it. And that's the law. Due process of law. The process that is due. Now, I get people want to see this stuff. Well, do it for yourself and you'll see it for yourself. Because here's the thing. Again, this is military operations. We're not going to be privy to this stuff, and like I've explained before, and even in my how to do the criminal complaint video, right? We're not going to know. They're not going to contact us. They're not going to let us know nothing. Jack. Okay? If you do hear from them, they're just going to be asking you for more evidence or more clarification. The fact is, if you don't hear from them, that's good news. That's that old saying, no news is good news. I know that it is backwards from what we normally think. They should tell us. No. And we can't disclose anything. They can't. It's an ongoing investigation. Ongoing prosecution. And then this is going through, what? Military tribunals. We're not going to see it. Okay? Again, we're not privy to that information. We have to comprehend that we are at war, and things are just a little bit different than the way it normally would be, but we're at war. We're martial law. Have been for quite a few years. Okay? Alright, so before jump over here, I want to say thank you to all those new people that have joined the Telegram channel. Just literally blew up this weekend. And for those of you that are in Telegram right now who would like to make comments and stuff, I shared the link to the live. Although somebody says link not working, I don't see how it's not working. But there's no way I can click on it. Hopefully it's coming through better. But make your comments under that post right there if you would, please. If you, those of you in Telegram, want to make a comment. Let's see if... Whoa. Okay. Come on, there we go. So right now it has 2. But yes, I wanted to thank everybody who came over here to my channel and joined my channel, and probably through Major Freddy and Captain Kyle, which I did a video with them. Actually, I kind of came in on a Wednesday night there with Captain Kyle and Major Freddy doing their thing, and then we ended up being over a week later on Friday night that Major Freddy and I did one together. So just the channel. You don't have to join the do not join group. So people need to comprehend how that works. So make sure that you join the channel, Kirk's Law Corner, and make your comments under each post. And I'd like to reiterate this, is that, especially for the new ones in there, please keep your comments related to the subject matter of the post. Okay? Your personal private life and your case stuff doesn't belong there. Okay? Out of context. Some are saying, sharing me on Gideon's Telegram. I was informed that Phil Godswinski, however you pronounce his name, shared one of my posts, and yeah, my channel has literally almost tripled. Within like an hour, I had almost 2,000 people join the channel. So hello out there. I see you. Are you watching? Oh, you're probably by yourself tonight. Eager Beaver is here tonight. I don't. Fix It is actually in the hospital. He emailed me earlier today. So he's not going to be here tonight as a moderator out there on YouTube. But Eager Beaver made it on tonight. He was going to try and broadcast on the report. Oh, Fix It is coming? All right. And I got some work to do with my website. Apparently there's some issues with my email thing. And I want to not reiterate, but let people know that I have not done anything with the emails that have been accrued somewhere in my server system there. The web guy that I have, we haven't actually talked for a little bit, but the last time we were talking about that, we got to get something set up to do the emails, because there's Fix It. Hey, brother. So to fix our email issue for people signing up for that, because oh, I stand corrected. I've just been informed that Fix It was not in the hospital. Some scam artist hit me up, and I kind of figured it was actually a scam after I received an email. Was asking me to do a card for him, and I'm like, what? So, welcome back. Welcome to the show. I was going off of the fake email. So, that's not true. Man, these scam artists. And that's the other thing, too, with on Telegram, the impersonator out there. And it's happening to other people. It's happening to Major Freddy and some other people. Pay attention, right? That a channel cannot send you a private message. Only your personal profile. And I will never send you a private message from Kirk's Law Corner LLC. Now, for a while there, I had it as my personal profile as Kirk's Law Corner LLC, and my channel was KLC Media Group News. But I changed that to here just a couple of months ago to make it easier for people to find my Telegram channel by search as Kirk's Law Corner. So when I changed that, somebody else was able to now create a personal profile and impersonate my channel. So again, my name is Kirk Pendergrass, And that's my personal profile. So for those of you that have PM'd with each other, you'll see that that's my profile. Anything else is not me. There's no way to private message from a channel. No way to do that. Okay, so for those of you out there receiving, just block them. Report them if you can. Oh. Sorry to hear that, Mark. Prayers up for Mark Bond out here at YouTube. Lost his mom on the 23rd, day before Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, brother. So, prayers for you and your family. So, for those of you that are new to the Telegram, this may be your first time tuning into this, but I don't know how many people are really watching. Somebody says here there's 47 watching right now through Telegram. I don't know how many might be watching through YouTube that are new to Telegram, whatever, on my personal channel, not necessarily new to Telegram, but welcome to Kirk's Law Corner, where I try to educate my fellow man on the law, the history of law, what your rights are, where they come from, and how to effectively claim, exercise, and defend them. And this is part of what we're going to get into here in just a minute about defending. Okay? Had to get rid of a sex bot there. Oh, you beat me to it. I was doing it at the same time too. Okay. Dynamic Donna on Telegram here says that I followed you and Chris on Facebook. As always, great content, and I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your time, experience, and knowledge with us. God bless you. Thank you. You know, there are people that have been following me and Chris when Chris was still with us. God rest his soul, right? Taken from us. And I can't really talk about it. If you notice that I haven't talked hardly anything about it, that's because there's a trial still pending. And yes, it is true that, which is weird. Now the prosecution wants to list me as being a witness on their behalf. But we'll see how it goes after I do the deposition. Now that's about all I can really share. Because see, I get how this stuff's supposed to work. We're supposed to keep our mouths shut. Okay? You start blabbing about things out here, and it totally destroys your ability to testify. You're supposed to keep quiet until it's time to testify. Until it's time to take the stand and be sworn in under oath. So help you God to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, like I told Neely's attorney, I said, I'm all in the interest of justice. You damn right I'll testify. Some people may not like what I have to testify about, including the so-called state. So we'll see if they actually want to call me as a witness on behalf of the state after I get done giving my deposition. And I have some pretty unique evidence that will need to be presented, and more than likely presented through the defendant side, to cast some reasonable doubt about what is being alluded to what happened versus what really did happen. And again, I can't really talk about all that stuff because there's still a pending trial. Okay? Now, other than that, let's take a dive here. How many people are aware of what the duties of a sheriff are? That's the key. Is like, wait a minute, the sheriff is the elected official in the county level, okay, and is supposed to fundamentally and principally defend the people. They're also supposed to be the bailiff. So, if the sheriff is supposed to be the bailiff at the court, wait a minute. Why would that be? I did find it. The executive branch is supposed to make sure that the law is executed properly, that nobody steps outside of their scope and authority, the prosecutor or the magistrate. Making sure that due process of law is followed, making sure that the defendants aren't being mistreated, that there's no maladministration, no malfeasance going on. Seems to me there's a little bit of a dereliction of duty of the sheriff in our courts. Like here, we have these Ada County court marshals. Who in the heck is that? No. The sheriff is the one that's supposed to be there. And by golly, maybe the sheriff would have to deputize some people to make them sheriff deputies to go down there and stand in his place because of the mass amount of stuff that's going on in the different courts and courtrooms within the district courthouse. So, this particular policy manual with procedures is the Ada County, my county sheriff's office. And see, there's an indicator something's changed there, because this should be the sheriff's department, not office. But we're going to go look at some of their operating principles. What's the sheriff's authority and powers? Okay. We'll just start right here, and we're just going to go down to right around here, from 1.1 to 1.5. You know what I'm going to do? I am just going to go click, which should take me right to it. Okay. Code of ethics here. My fundamental duty is to protect the constitutional rights and freedoms of the people whom I have been sworn to uphold. I will serve my community, this agency, and my fellow deputies with honor to the best of my ability. That sounds like a fundamental principle, not an ethic, a code. This would be a moral, a principle. Anywho, I will perform all of my duties in a professional and competent manner. I consider the ability to be courageous and to exercise restraint in the use of my power and authority to be the ultimate public trust. I wonder why that's in there. I accept that I must consistently strive to achieve excellence in learning the necessary knowledge and skills associated with my duties. I will keep myself physically and mentally prepared so that I am capable of performing my duties according to the standards expected of my position. I will be fully truthful and honest in my dealings with others. I deplore lies and half-truths that mislead or do not fully inform those who must depend upon my honesty. I will obey the very laws that I am sworn to uphold. which is the Constitution and our rights and freedoms of the people. All right. Those who must depend on my honesty. This later do not fully inform those who must depend on my honesty. I will obey the very laws that I'm sworn to uphold. Now, my question is what laws would that be? Because code is not law. And I've had this conversation with them. Well, I'm under oath to uphold the Idaho Code. I'm like, you can't be bound by the Idaho Code. Article 6, Clause 3 of the Constitution for the United States of America specifically states that all the members of the aforementioned and legislative, executive, and judicial, both state and federal, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, which goes back right to the first fundamental duty to protect the rights of the people. Not the code. Rights are the law. Because right and law are synonymous. Comes from the French word droit, meaning right or law. Code is not law. Statutes are not law. Regulations are not law. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news for quite a few people out there that seem to think that the code is the law, that the statutes are the law, or the regulations are the law. That's not law. It's all shmew, color of law. I will comply with the standards of my department and the lawful directions of my superiors. Well, who is higher than the sheriff? Nobody, except for the people, because all of the power is inherent in the people. The sheriff doesn't exist unless we give our consent. And in fact, no part of government exists unless we give our consent, or there's maladministration and malfeasance going on, internal insurrection or some sort of invasion, that domestic violence that Article 4, Section 4 refers to. Real domestic violence. Not the shmew made up by the bar and Congress in 1995 with the Violence Against Women Act. No, that's not true. That's not domestic violence. In fact, the actual act of Congress creating the Violence Against Women Act is, in fact, internal insurrection. I'll be fully truthful and honest in my dealings with others. Okay, next one. I will treat others with courtesy at all times. I consider it to be a professional weakness to allow another's behavior to dictate my response. I will not allow the actions or failings of others to be my excuse for not performing my duties in a responsible, professional, and expected manner. All right. I'm going to hold you that, Mr. Sheriff there. You're going to be asked to perform some of your duties there, Sheriff. I will empathize with the problems of the people with whom I come in contact. However, I cannot allow my personal feelings, prejudice, animosities, or friendships to influence the discretionary authority entrusted to my job. I will avoid conflicts and potential conflicts of interest that could compromise my official authority or public image. While I consider the way I choose to conduct my private affairs a personal freedom, I accept responsibility for my actions as well as inactions while on duty or off duty. When those actions bring disrepute on the public image of my sheriff, my fellow deputies, and the law enforcement profession. I hold the authority inherent in my position to be an affirmation of the public's trust in me as Ada County Sheriff Office Deputy. I do not take this trust lightly. As long as I remain in this position, I will dedicate myself to maintaining this trust and upholding all the ideals of the Ada County Sheriff's Office and the law enforcement profession. Okay, first of all, there is no such thing as law enforcement profession. And technically speaking, lawfully, there is no such thing as Ada County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff is elected by the people and is the highest lawman in the county to execute the law and defend against tyranny, defend against foreign invasion or internal insurrection, having the power to deputize the people just in case. Remember the olden days, you watch some of these old westerns, right? For those of us that are old enough, or old as I am, or maybe even some of you that are older when these were new, remember the wanted signs? Dead or alive, $500 reward. And remember how they would round up a posse? And the sheriff would deputize them for that specific purpose, to go get the man and bring him back to justice. And then once they did that, they're done. They don't stay on payroll. They're going for that $500 reward. So when the sheriff deputizes a man or set of men there for a specific purpose, once they finish the task, they're done. They're relieved from duty. They're deputized for that specific purpose. So we need to keep in mind that the sheriff has the power to deputize for specific reasons. And one of them, which we just discussed, the second one, another one, is to protect us from foreign invasion, from enemy attack. Okay? This is on a local level, how this is supposed to work, and the powers and duties of the sheriff to perform. Now, let's move on here. 1.2. We make safer places their mission and vision. We make safer places for you to live, work, and play. The Ada County Sheriff's Office will be the agency of choice for criminal justice services. Really? Huh. The sheriff's office is the agency? Weird. This sounds like corporate terms. All right. Values, 1.3. Integrity. People can trust us to always do the right thing, both personally and professionally. Really? All right. I'm going to hold you responsible for that. Service. We care about the people we serve and always try to help them. Dedication. We are expected to work harder and go the extra mile for each other and for members of our communities. Attitude. The positive way we interact with others and approach our responsibilities makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. When you guys going to start doing that? Operating principles. This is part of rule of law. Well, let's see. Expectations of employees are clearly set in the form of policies, standard operating procedures, and evaluations. Supervision provides leadership, support, and resourceful problem solving. I'm going to back up here. Expectations of employees are clearly set in the form of policies. No. What about the law? Did we forget about the Constitution? I mean, the very first thing you said was the Constitution. Right here. Considering, technically speaking, we don't have constitutional rights. We have a constitution, which is the instrument of government. Then we have rights as the law. But see, the rights were declared, laid down before the Constitution. because that's what the Declaration of Independence says, as it is written, that to secure these rights, government is instituted. All right, 1.4 operating principles. Supervision provides leadership, support, and resourceful problem solving. Training maintains standards and provides employees with new and better skills. Communication among line staff, supervisors, lieutenant managers, director, staff, share community is clear and timely. Collaboration brings stakeholders together to find the most effective and efficient solution to problems. What's this, stakeholders? This kind of sounded like a corporation. Forecasting uses reliable data to accurately predict future needs, challenges, and opportunities, and uses that information to plan for the best outcomes. Now, the sheriff is responsible for administration and management of the Ada County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff shall fulfill his or her duties as stated in Idaho Code Title 31, Chapter 22. Where's the Constitution? Where's our rights? Something seems a little off there, doesn't it? Per the code? No. The problem is the sheriff is from the common law. Uh-oh. That's right. So, that's it. Oh, let's look at their oath of office here. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution and laws of the state of Idaho. I will earn the respect of others by being ethically and professional at all times. I pledge to carry out my duties to the best of my ability and bring honor to the Ada County Sheriff's Office and to myself, so help me God. Wow, that's not too bad. And the fact that it says Constitution of the United States of America, not the Constitution of the United States. So now let's take a look at the sheriff responsible for administration under Idaho Code Title 31, Chapter 22. Let me see if I can... What was that? 3122? Yep. Let's go look at these duties of the sheriff. Policy. What does that say? It doesn't say the law of the state of Idaho. It says the policy of the state of Idaho is that the primary duty of enforcing all penal provisions and statutes of the state is vested with the sheriff of each county as provided. Wait a minute. The sheriff is supposed to do that? Why do we have these traffic patrol officers out there doing what they're doing? If this is supposed to be done by the sheriff. The sheriff shall perform the following: preserve the peace, arrest and take before the nearest magistrate for examination all persons who attempt to commit or have committed a public offense unless otherwise provided by law. The sheriff is supposed to do this. This is the duty of the sheriff. To arrest and take before the nearest magistrate for examination. Not to jail. Well, we got to do the booking. No. Where does it say arrest, take them to jail, and then whenever you guys get around to it, take them before the magistrate? Because the Criminal Practice Act of 1864 for Idaho here already lays this all out, that you're supposed to go, and even the Idaho Code and even the Idaho rules of procedure, criminal rules of procedure, specifically state you're supposed to take him before the nearest, most accessible magistrate with unnecessary delay, and you cannot incarcerate nor require to post bond until after an initial appearance. But this process comes from the common law. Prevent and suppress all affrays, breaches of the peace, riots, and insurrections which may come to his knowledge. I want to make that very clear that this is one of your duties as a sheriff, because this is what I'm going to be referring to here in just a little bit. Insurrections and affrays. That's part of that internal insurrection, which could lead to, I don't know, what we may determine as civil war. The sheriff is to attend all courts, including Magistrates Division of the District Court when ordered by a district judge. No. Not supposed to be ordered by the district judge. Forget that part. That's a duty belonging to the sheriff to begin with, and that goes clear back to the Magna Carta of 1215. It's been the common law that the sheriff is the one that's supposed to attend the courts. And obey the lawful orders and directions of the court. Those have to be lawful. And if they're not lawful, the sheriff is supposed to arrest them, because that would be part of them affrays and insurrection. Here we go. Command the aid of as many inhabitants of the county as he may think necessary in the execution of these duties. All right, folks. Here's the thing. We need to be asking the question of our sheriffs. Now, I need to pay real close attention to this, folks. We need to ask the sheriff if he's willing to perform these duties and deputize the inhabitants if civil war were to break out. Now, here's what I'm asking you folks to do. I'm asking you to go in and record this and talk to your county sheriff and ask them that question. Will you deputize the inhabitants to defend if civil war were to break out? Or we could say, if civil war were to break out, would you deputize the inhabitants to defend? And then I want you to send that recording to me at Kirk at kirkslawcorner.com. Send it to my email, please. I'm going to do a little documentary on this. And we're going to show them, right? Show the good ones, show the bad ones. And there's a little more behind this, but let's just start with this part, okay? Let's start with finding out who the good actors are, who the good sheriffs are, who the bad actors are, who the bad sheriffs are. I just showed you that's one of their duties to perform, is to deputize the inhabitants for the affrays or insurrections. Enemy attack is what that really is. Okay? Okay? So, if you decide that you want to do this, make sure that your recording equipment works good, that your phone or whatever it is, make sure that it works good. Okay? And try to get video. Make sure that you state that you're in this particular state, in this particular county, and that this is the county sheriff and his name. And ask the question. We need to document this. And this is part of my media license, doing some investigative journalism here. And I'm asking you folks to send me those videos. And these need to be short, right? Try not to, make sure that they're short. Right? It's not that. This is a real simple question. And if they wanted to get into discussion about it, that's great. If you can, pull up your code, find your county sheriff's manual that's similar to mine there. Find those particular parts that say that kind of stuff right there. Okay? And so that you know. I mean, I just showed you mine, but this is a fundamental principle, okay? I just shared my email in there, the Telegram. Eager Beaver got it over here on YouTube. And, whoa, where'd my Facebook one go? Hiding behind here. There it is. And send your video footages to my email. And it's kirk@kirkslawcorner.com. If you would, please. Especially if you believe that your county sheriff is corrupt, please go talk to them. And don't be snotty or anything like that. Remain civil. Okay? And just say, listen, I need to ask you a question. And I want to record this so that for me, right? That you want to record it, whatever. If you can do it discreetly without being obvious that you're recording, do that. Exactly, Sandy out here on Facebook. Why feel weird about it? They work for us, right? They should be happy to. Exactly. What? Alaska does not have any sheriffs? Well, you boondockers out there, what the heck do you guys do? You probably take care of business yourself. Just my guess. But well, this needs to be done directly to the man or woman acting as sheriff. This needs to be recorded, the question being asked and answered. And now, again, I will reiterate this. That if civil war were to break out, would you deputize the inhabitants here to defend? Okay? And this is here in America. Okay? Well, technically speaking, and I could care less what the judicial branch has to say, one of the greatest bulwarks of liberty is the right of the press. And here's the key words to use is there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. If there's no reasonable expectation of privacy, which the Supreme Court has already ruled on this many times, numerous times, if there is no reasonable expectation of privacy, if you are in the public, there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. If this is a public building, there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. You are the servants. Servants do not dictate to their masters. And because the right of the press is one of the greatest bulwarks of liberty, it can only be deprived by despotic government. So you have a bunch of despots, bunch of tyrants, right? What is it? What was the ethics there, and what your duties are to perform is to protect our rights and freedoms? That's the very first duty of the sheriff, to defend our rights and freedoms. So, a lot of First Amendment auditors out there, I wish they would learn these words and phrases to use about that there's no reasonable expectation of privacy here. We're in the general public, and then public is them. Man is in the private. The people are in the private. Public means public servant, elected official or appointed into a position of public trust. Whether elected or appointed, which is an employee, right? Emolument, any advantage, profit, or gain received due to one's position of employment or holding of office. Okay? You're receiving a paycheck on taxpayer dollars, you're the servant. You have a duty to uphold and defend our rights, to ensure that we can claim and exercise those rights wherever we want to claim and exercise those rights. Even if it's inside of a publicly funded building. Public servants do not have the authority to deprive fundamental rights. Period. So, this is what I'm asking for the general public out there in the private, the people, the inhabitants, to go talk to their sheriffs and ask this question and find out whether or not they would deputize the inhabitants or the people. I would definitely use the word inhabitants. Okay? If they will deputize the inhabitants, if we were to end up in a civil war. But technically speaking, remember, the military is subordinate to the civil power, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. We already have this right and power, and the militia, the unorganized by government militia, that's right, comes first. Because in order to have the organized militia by state or organized militia by federal, you have to have the militia first. And that's why the Second Amendment reads the way it reads. A militia being necessary for the security of a free state, a well-organized militia. For the security of a free state, a state of being free, the militia, to regulate the militia, is necessary. But the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Which, that's what it is the people are to be the armed body of men. That from that pool, we pull from that pool to the organized, the regulated, the well-regulated militia is the military. And the military is subordinate to the civil power. This goes back to that ancient admiralty jurisdiction in maritime law. So, let me see if we got any questions over here or other comments. Okay, there's that one. This could be an interesting task. Sort of exciting, really, to do. I'm all for it. This Kathy Watson. How you doing, Kathy? And I think what I'll do is I will make just a real short video clip reiterating this. So that way a lot of people don't have to try and go through all of this to get to that. But I highly recommend sharing this video far and wide so that people can grasp what I'm talking about here. And I'll make another one that's specifically about that question to make it simple for you folks to easily, quickly, and share, because I know a lot of people will watch 2 or 3 minute videos. I know it's hard to keep the attention of a lot of people, so I thank all those who do show up here and watch and learn and listen. For me, there's a lot of other people out there that do podcasts and that kind of stuff, but as I've been told over the years, there's nobody out there doing what I'm doing. And I thought Ted Fogg was crazy when he talked about that stuff, what I was doing on Blog Talk Radio. It's like, dude, there's nobody out there doing what you're doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? There are lots of people out there talking about no. And I still had a hard time grasping what he was talking about, but that's my reality, folks. You know anybody else out there that pulls up history of law, reads it, explains it, and applies it to today? Anybody that goes down those rabbit holes of history of law? Not that I'm aware of. The only one that I relatively know about is Carl Miller, but he didn't do anything close to what I'm doing. Right? He didn't go through history of law, show you the Magna Carta, the First Charter of Virginia, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, the Virginia Constitution. What's happening, Nikki Schumacher? There's one of my Idaho peeps, one of my followers here locally. You made it on here. That's the first time I've seen you on here. Welcome to my little corner of law. So, oh man. Yeah, I'm not aware of anybody else really doing a whole lot of what I'm doing. And of course, I see Michael. I see you out there, brother. Good to see you. So yeah, I just want to thank all those that do show up and hang out and do their best to learn from me, and or just, I don't know, to turn it on and fall asleep. Corruption Detector, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. And yeah, I had I took a little hiatus there. I took a little break for almost a year. Again, because one, I had a few cases to take care of, and just needed a break for real. But the main reason is that I was feeling compelled by God to come back. Yeah, Cece, I'm aware of Schaefer Cox. He's been in prison for 10 years. I didn't know he was 10 years now, but for forming a militia. Well, the problem is no part of government has jurisdiction over that, because that's a power retained by the people. Thanks, Fix It. No sleeping on this show. You keep us on the edge of our seats, right? Good. It's our republic if we can keep it. Hi, Candace. Good to see you. So yeah, for those that have just tuned in and stuff, I just came back the end of October. I think it was the 26th, which I highly recommend going back and watching that particular one, because that's the one I went over again, proclamations and executive orders, laying that stuff all out from the executive orders, which I did throughout the years, clear back in 2017 through 2018 and 19. I laid all that stuff out as it was coming out. And then I've done a couple of videos over the years of one of them being in the executive was 926. Yeah, that's what I thought. Covered that stuff in the educational series. So that's in there as well. So I highly recommend people watching the educational series from beginning to end. It's in a chronological order of things for a reason. And you have to learn those kinds of things first, in kind of an order of things, because that's kind of the kind of guy I am, the kind of way I work. Is things have to be in order. Imagine that. Maybe a little bit of a military background, law and order. Maybe it's the mechanical aptitude in me. Things have got to be in order. You can build an engine. You have to do it in order. If you don't put it together right, it's not going to run right, and it's going to blow up on you. So, I encourage people to take the time to watch my educational series. Many people ask me about different books to start reading and that kind of stuff. Please go watch my educational series. That's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. I'll get them uploaded on Rumble. That way they're out there on Rumble, so people that don't want to join YouTube and those that don't want to be on Facebook anymore, I'll get them up there on Rumble so that pretty much anybody can watch them from there. And maybe even get them on here on my Telegram channel. So, other than that, if you'd like to help support me and what I'm doing and my adventures here, right? The first way is through Patreon. Patreon.com/Kirk's Law Corner. Tier 1 and Tier 2, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you want to pledge, that's fine, as a donation to help support me. Now, on Wednesday nights, I do a private Wednesday night workshop. Starts at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday nights. And that's for Tier 3. And then Tier 4, if you'd like a 1 hour one-on-one with me, that's Tier 4. Other than that, you can put in there however much you want to donate. If you want to donate more than $5 or $10 a month, that's up to you. Because PayPal and Cash App have taken me down. Did that year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. So, the other way is over to my office, which is office address is 6477 West Fairview Avenue, Suite C is in Charlie, Boise, Idaho 83704. Now that address is on Facebook, and maybe one of these guys will post it here somewhere, or I'll have to just type it in and copy and paste. But I highly recommend getting on my Telegram channel. There you go. Thank you, brother. Fix It Fast. Got it up there on YouTube. I'll put it out here. Of course, if you're on Facebook and watching right now anyways, you can go right to my Facebook page and get it. For those in Telegram, it's in the comment section under the live that I shared. So for any, postal money orders, cashier's checks, gold, silver coinage, any books you'd like to send or anything like that, over to the office through the snail mail. Oh, Michelle got it too. Want to thank those people, Michelle, Fix It Fast, Eager Beaver, people behind the scenes on stuff. I know that Eager Beaver and Fix It Fast and myself haven't been around for the last year, but make no mistake, they've been there for a couple of years there before all that, before I stopped doing lives. So other than that, folks, we need to come together, and it's our republic if we can keep it. We need to learn about this right of petition and how the legislature is actually supposed to work and who has the power. Okay? We do. All political power is inherent in the people. All of it. And this is part of what I teach, is how to claim and exercise that right, that power. The right to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary. There's a process that is due there. There are rules of procedure to follow in the legislature, just like there is in the judicial. But this is a political argument, not a judicial one. Technically speaking, the judicial branch does not have jurisdiction at all. It's either the legislative branch or over to the executive if the legislature fails to assemble. If they fail to discharge the duties of that office as we instruct them to do, that is internal insurrection. Plain and simple. It is maladministration, it is malfeasance, and the executive branch has a duty to arrest them. I see you, Diana Sharp. Thank you. Much love to you. Much love to everybody out here, including the new ones. But I see a lot of people that were my longtime followers from before, and thank you for coming back and sticking around. Right? Karen, they run from you now, talking about Mark. Same thing with me, folks, right? Knowledge is power. Literally will empower you when you gain this knowledge. I speak from my own personal experience, right? This is where the Bible talks about our tongues are sharper than a double-edged sword. And I've made this analogy before. Is can I get a man to stand in front of me and let me wield my double-edged sword at him? I highly doubt I would get any volunteers. Why? Because any man of sound mind knows that double-edged sword is going to cause some serious damage to their body. Now let's think about in the spiritual realm, casting our spells, spelling it out, speaking the law. But you have to know the law in order to speak it. kind of a catch-22 there. I know. So, when I ventured out on this, it was like, man, I don't know. Carl Miller said, somebody ought to do something about that. You're right. Be a somebody, as he says. Well, crap. I'm starting to get older. How am I gonna remember all this stuff? Well, at 51, my memory's still working pretty good, as most of you can see and hear. A lot of it has to do with repetition and really just committing it to memory, right? A lot of it makes sense, right? Logical, common sense. So once you get into this stuff, you're like, well, wait a minute. Oh, that's how that's supposed to work, or that's how that right works. It'll be ingrained into your mind for the rest of your life. Make no mistake. This is the knowledge is power. It will literally empower you. And so when you stand in front of these tyrants, it's like walking into the room full of cockroaches and turning the light on. Speaking the law is like turning the light on. Walking in the light. Walking in the Spirit. Wielding that double-edged sword in the spiritual realm by speaking the law. And when you do that, and I've experienced this, it cuts them down like nobody's business. And in certain situations, I've had them literally turn and walk away. Or go get into their cars and go away. No. It's our tongues are sharper than a double-edged sword. That's why we have to be very careful with the words we speak to our fellow man. Right? We can really hurt some people by just speaking words to them. And I'm sure some of you have experienced that. Some of you may have seen it happen. Okay? That's what is meant in the Bible by our tongues are sharper than a double-edged sword. And to be very mindful of how we speak to people. Because our words can be very hurtful in the spiritual realm. So, as per the ideology of our nation called America here, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, June 12, 1776, declares Christianity as our ideology of this nation called America. The new nation. The nation is called America. That is the law of the nation, and that is to practice Christian love, charity, and forbearance. Not Catholic. Christian. Not Catholicism. Not a monarchy. Okay? So, want to thank all those new people that have joined the Telegram channel and those that may be new to Facebook and YouTube followers. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next week on Monday Night Law, as well as those on Patreon. Wednesday night workshop. I will see you then. And anybody who gets signed up on Patreon to get it in on Tier 3 or Tier 4, I'll send you that information through Patreon, which I believe I just saw earlier today, and I didn't get to send you a message yet, somebody who had joined. So I'll get you that information. I send all that stuff through Patreon. All communication is done through Patreon. So much love to everybody out there. It's our republic if we can keep it. And by golly, I'm doing what I can to bring the people together, to educate the people on what our rights are, where they come from, and how to effectively claim, exercise, and defend them following due process of law. That's the key. So, in order to do that, you have to know the law, your rights as the law. You have to know our form of government, the Constitution, what powers they have and what powers they don't have. We have to learn who has what powers and who doesn't, where to go to tell on them. Okay? All those neat little things to make everything happen properly, following the process that is due. That's the key. So, with that, folks, except for those on Telegram, a little bit of an after show over there that most people won't, that you don't get here on YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, because I end the live there. So, highly recommend getting over on the Telegram if you want to be participant in the after show on Telegram. All right. With that, my brothers and sisters,